What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, for the very last video of the year, I kind of wanted to take a second and take a video to really this was going to be a little different, okay? Like, what I'm going to say in this video might piss a few people off, a few people might get upset, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to do it anyway, because I feel like it needs to be said, and so we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into this new year with some heat, okay? So, what we're going to be talking about today is Bitcoin and crypto in general. Obviously, what we know right now is that Bitcoin has a very substantial amount of control on the market at the moment. Realistically, if Bitcoin dumps, the alts are going with it. If Bitcoin pumps, the alts will eventually go with it. It may take a second, but they will eventually, okay? And what that means for us is that at the moment, as we see that Bitcoin is ranging, I've been seeing so much craziness in the market recently. You know, every time we start to pump, we see people saying, oh my God, this is going to 100K. Then every time we start to dump, it's, oh my God, it's going to 20K. And it's just a bunch of freaking out. So let me go ahead and let me just put it on the table that not myself, not any YouTuber, not any Twitter expert, and not your Uncle Jim who lives across the street who has a Bitcoin miner that's connected to his Nintendo Switch. No one knows what is going to happen with crypto, okay? Going into the next year, you're going to see all these videos. Is the January pump coming? Just like the December pump, just like the November pump, just like all of these pumps that are supposed to happen based off of history. Everyone's going to consistently say, oh, it's the new year pump, right? Because just like this year, just like in 2021, we saw that crypto exploded. So it has to happen in January, right? No. Something that I posted on Twitter earlier was that the crypto world is changing and adapting every single day. That alone is a massive sign that we are still incredibly early in this thing. Sit tight, my friends. Happy New Year. As the years go by, as time passes, we are noticing that the patterns are changing, the records are breaking, and we're starting to see some of these tendencies change, okay? And what we know is that history doesn't necessarily repeat, but as Lark Davis likes to say, it rhymes. But even some of these rhymes don't make much sense nowadays. We're starting to notice these changes. We're starting to notice these differences. We're starting to notice these things that really just don't fit into the puzzle in which we've been building over the last couple years. And so what that means for us is that as we are starting to develop these habits of, saying, oh, this month it's going to pump, next month it's going to pump, Q4 it's going to pump, maybe we need to start focusing a little bit more on the bigger picture. So one thing that we talk about on this channel a lot is the technical analysis and the confirmations that we can use that will, give us much more of a clear picture of where things are going. Now, I don't want to go ahead and say that technical analysis is the know-all be-all, and that when technical analysis is right, it's all, when the technical analysis is always going to be right, because that's not true. But what I do know is that assessing technical analysis gives you the accessibility to the realm of possibilities for you to know, does it work? Are we confirmed? Have we set a higher high? Have we cleared that moving average? Have we cleared this resistance? To assess the realm of possibilities, to say there is a high chance at this point that we go up, or there is a high chance at this point that we go down, because it's never perfect. We don't have a crystal ball. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know the future. I've been wrong many times. But what I do know is that as we do assess these things and as we do start to look at these charts, it always tends to paint a picture for us of what the realm of possibilities is. And so going into the new year, something that I offer you is step away from the things that always have these promises that aren't really backed with anything. Whenever we're seeing on YouTube, whenever we're seeing on Twitter, whenever we're seeing on Safari, or anything like that, where it's saying, oh, this month is going to be the month that pumps. These cryptos are going to pump this month just because they did last year, or things of that nature. I encourage you to add a little bit more into what you do, add a little bit more research, add a little bit more knowledge, and that's why we focus on confirmations. So what we're going to talk about is what we're seeing from the market right now. And we're going to give a realistic explanation and expectation of what we can see happening for, over the next couple months, over the next couple years. When is this market going to move? I don't know. Neither does anyone else. But what I do know is how to confirm when we're seeing breakouts. So let's talk about those, okay? So I broke this down for you as simply as I possibly could. Now, what we're going to be looking for, I'm going to get our price labels out right now, and we're going to be looking for a few different things. First things first is going to be the clearing of about, let's go ahead and give it, I want to move this just perfectly. Let's go ahead. I just want it to be perfect. There we go. It's good enough. $52,000. $52,000 is the level in which we need to clear in order for us to establish that we are in an uptrend. Until the time comes that we do not get above $52,000, no matter what anyone says, this bull run is not continuing. It is that simple. Whenever we started to see this move to the upside here, boom, and everyone was freaking out. Everyone's all excited. We started to see the crypto market moving. I mean, what was that? That was a solid move from Bitcoin of, 13%. And everyone said, this is it. I told you guys, I'm not accumulating until we clear 52K and close on a daily candle above it. Why? Because that's a confirmation. And what did we see? I made a few small buys here, just a little bit, but I said no mass accumulating because until we clear this, I don't believe it. And then what happens? Everyone who bought right here gets dumped on and their alts are down 20+%. And so what that means is that in a time like this, using technical analysis saved us from seeing a mass accumulation while everyone was getting excited as we're setting some of these higher highs. And we didn't start to see, much more losses simply due to the fact that we just chased the excitement. We saw the fear and greed index go from 20 to 40 in a day. So what we need to pay attention to is $52,000. Until the moment comes that we clear $52,000, no matter what anyone says, we need to be realistic in saying this thing is not moving. We are ranging, and that is a good thing. That is a good thing. Let me explain why. Typically speaking, when we start to see ranging, that's a sign of strength. The reason that's a sign of strength is you need to examine what this crypto market is. Realistically, this crypto market is a bunch of institutional money and also a lot of retail money. And retail investors are the most shady, fragile people on earth. Okay. They will immediately get out. If they see any losses or any gains, realistically, they will panic and they will sell it no matter what happens. And so in a time where a market that is controlled by a lot of people that are that fragile, that we can see a balance and that we can see some control, it shows an increase in maturity from investors, and it shows an increase in maturity from your overall market itself. And just like I talked about on my Twitter earlier, saying that that is a sign that we're still early in this thing, it shows that this thing is maturing. It shows that it is adapting and that it is growing. And in times like these where everyone's uncertain, now we're seeing ranging. We're starting to see sideways trading because in the past, in history, I remember 2017 and 18 and 19. If there was uncertainty in the market, it looked like this. This is what uncertainty looked like. Consistent falls. That's it. It would just continuously fall because people are getting more and more scared. But we're seeing people realizing the potential that there is in crypto. People are starting to realize that crypto is coming around. People are realizing that there are differences that can be made. People are realizing that crypto has the ability to change the world itself. And that's why we're starting to see so many moments where we start to range. Even if it leads to a fall, that's fine. But we find that balance more often than not. And that's a fantastic sign. And so what we need to be paying attention to is the fact that, no, we're not just going to say that, just because January is coming around, it's going to pump. No, let's put some stats behind it. So looking at this thing, one thing I like to pay very close attention to is your Bollinger Band width. Now, your Bollinger Bands are going to be measurements of volatility based off of two standard deviations on either side from a moving average. Now, the technical definition really does not matter, okay, for you. What matters is the idea that typically speaking, your Bollinger Band width, the width from your top Bollinger Band and let's go ahead and get that loaded, your top Bollinger Band and your bottom Bollinger Band will decide or will be created, and it will be moving up and down, and it will get bigger and smaller dependent on the volatility we're seeing in the market. What that means is that the more volatile it gets, as you can see, the more your Bollinger Bands open up. And the less volatile it gets, the more they close down. And one thing we know is that between 11 and 10 on your Bollinger Band width that can be found on your indicators on TradingView, this is usually when we will see a move happen in the market. Let's kind of take a look at the last couple times. The last time we were here, we saw a big fall. The time before that, we started to see, this little fall again, right? Now, the time before that, we started to see the uptrend. The time before that, we started to see a fall. Now, what I've noticed is that these Bollinger Band widths, when we start to hit this level, they have they have tendencies to move against the market. What that means is that if we're in a downtrend and we see that level get reached on the Bollinger Band width in which we see massive consolidation, it will usually go against whatever the trend was. So it'll be something like this, something like that, and then something like that. So am I under the belief that crypto is getting ready to make a big move? Yeah, I am. Do I know which direction it's going to go? No, I don't. Is there more of a likelihood, statistically speaking, based off of data? Data is history, and history is the only thing we can base the future off of. Is there a more likelihood that we're going to go up? Yes. So what I'm paying attention to right now is $52,000 and $45,548. Whichever one of these levels we clear first is going to be the biggest indicator, realistically, of where this thing is going in the short term. And the short-term likelihood is if we lose $45,000, we're coming right back to around probably this $42,000 area. Now, you guys remember, we do not want to see a lower low get set on a macro scale, which looks like the loss of $40,000. So even if we break to the bottom side and retest this bottom wick, as long as we're holding around this $42,000 area, there's no reason to be afraid. But considering the fact that we were able to successfully see a breakout of the trend, as well as the fact that we are in our key Fibonacci retracement zone, of course, our 0.618 to 786 zone, as we can see, the bottom side here, you can see we are in this 618 to 786 zone above $46,000. Considering both of those things, I'm under the belief that we are going to see that move to the upside. Will it happen now? I don't know. Will it happen tomorrow? I don't know. Will it happen next week? I don't know. But I do know is that your levels are $52,000 and $45,000 based off of historical confirmations that tell us, typically speaking, when we clear our local high, that we're going to continue, or that if we lose our local low, we're likely going to continue. That's the only way that I look at these things, and that's the easiest way for me to take emotion out of these markets. I don't like looking at this market with emotion. There's some YouTubers out there who constantly just pump things for no reason. Oh, this month is going to moon. Next month it's going to moon. The next month it's going to moon. But realistically, the only data that they have is what they want people to hear. That's it. And so what I would recommend to you is start to look into these indicators, start to look into some of these strategies and techniques and things that have repeated themselves in history that are statistically proven and not emotionally proven. And with that being said, going into next year, I'm going to continue to do my best to update you all on what I'm seeing, what I'm expecting, how I'm feeling, how I think the market's going to move, how I don't think the market's going to move, and how we can go about taking advantage of that to do exactly what we set out to do on this channel, and that's to maximize gains in crypto. So with that being said, of course, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. I'm sure I aggravated some of you. I'm sure I made some of you extra excited, but at the end of the day, I'm just here to give my honest opinion. And with that being said, I hope you guys do enjoy. If you did, of course, you can let me know by smashing that like button one more time before the year ends and subscribing to the channel so you can jump into 2022 with the Tyler Hill investing family. And with that being said, I'll see you all next year. Peace.